Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are talking Void Opals. So, in Elite Dangerous, there is a new mining system that I absolutely love, and I wanted to talk about it and what kind of money I've been making. I've actually been making quite a good amount going out and just mining Void Opals like 2 jumps away from where I currently am. And if I had a different ship, it may have been even closer. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the fit. Okay, so as far as ships that you use, you want something that has a decent jump range. You want something that's got plenty of slots in it because you're going to be mining stuff. You want to have, some decent cargo capacity. Um, the crate, which is what I'm using, is not a good option. I like it because of how maneuverable it is. Having a very maneuverable ship is important. So I guess you could do something like this in one of the types for hauling stuff. You're going to come up a little bit short on modules, and you may find yourself just a little bit underpowered. Let's go ahead and start with the hard points. Um, the multi-cannon and the burst laser are my personal additions. I wanted to be not completely defenseless out there in the fields. There will be people that stop by and scan you and see if you've got good stuff to see if they can take it from you. I like to have a little bit of defense. Grabbing a fighter bay would also not be a terrible idea, but once again, the crate, not the best option for this. But as far as mandatory modules, you need the seismic charge launcher. We'll need the abrasion blaster. You absolutely have to have those 2 modules. If you want, you can also use the subsurface displacement missile. Those come in handy for when you're mining things that aren't void opals, things that are buried within a rock. I don't use that all that much, but I've got it for just in case. And I know a lot of you will probably also have that same, want to have it for just in case. Let's go to our utility mounts. The pulse wave analyzer is a must. There is no getting around this. You have to have it. That's how you find your rocks. Go over to our core internal. So there's really not a whole bunch special over here. I just want a decent power plant so that I can power all of my modules, especially when I've got my hardpoints deployed. We've got plenty of room over there in the deployed section. Thrusters, you can add those. They aren't super duper important for mining. The frame shift drive is, however, quite important. You're going to be hauling a lot of stuff a decent distance, most likely. So you want to be able to make the jumps. I've also, let's see, we got a good power distributor just because I like to add those. Let's go on to optional internal. Start at the top. I left the stock shield generator. You just want enough to give you the shields to get out of there if somebody does scan you and want your stuff and you don't have the ability to fight back. I've got a nice big cargo rack. I want to be able to capture several asteroids. Or not asteroids. Well, I guess they are asteroids. Several large rocks full of ore. I've got a fuel scoop. You do not need this big of a fuel scoop. If you're in a very populated place, you may not even need a fuel scoop. Generally, I catch a little bit going back and forth between the station I sell and the system that I mine in. It's nice, but not a have to have. If you don't bring a fuel scoop, keep the numbers of the fuel rats handy. There's some good folks. They do some good stuff. Just try not to abuse them. Advanced docking computer, once again, wholly unnecessary. It's just something that I like. Going back and forth between one place and the other, having something to make just that little bit easier is really nice, especially when you're multitasking. Mining is pretty nice. It's very peaceful. I mean, unless you get scanned with a full hold. So I like to multitask while I do that. Your first second must have. You need Prospector Limpet controller. have to have that. You can't prospect a rock without a prospector. Um, I also like to haul around the refinery. I'm going to call this a must so that you can refine things as they get dropped off at your ship. Once again, bigger is better. I wouldn't go below a 3A, but you can probably get away with a lot less. You don't really need a lot more. Collector limpets. If you don't like the mini game of grabbing things in space with your cargo scoop down, this is for you. I like having 2 to 3 out there, grabbing stuff, bringing it back to me. It comes in super duper handy, and I am a little lazy. Um, Detailed surface scanner. When you're finding the place to get your void opals, your void opal hotspots, gotta have that. Absolutely gotta have that so that you can find it. I mean, we'll go over how to scan a planet and its rings a little bit later in the episode. Super Cruise Assist, 100% unnecessary. Just one of those nice to haves. Same thing for the Planetary Approach Suite. Nice to have, don't need. Let's see. That actually pretty much covers the fit. And I'm glad we got that taken care of pretty quick because it's going to take a while for us to find those rocks. Some notes. You can hit restock all, which at this moment is actually bugged. You will need to restock some things every trip. But very, very importantly, your limpets do not get restocked when you hit restock all. You have to go into advanced maintenance because it takes up a cargo slot. So right now I've got 12. I just finished a very, very small 1 rock mining run. And it took me 8 to find the right rock. And, well, actually, the limpet control, or the limpets, the same limpets are used for prospecting and for collecting. So my limpets stay out there a good while, but there are always some pathing issues. Sometimes your limpet just cannot figure its way around a floating piece of rock and it explodes. So definitely have some spares, and it will take quite a few limpets, prospecting limpets, to get a handle on what rock you need to prospect. So let's go ahead and bump that up to about 20. 20 is a pretty good place to sit. Let's see. Anything else? No, not really. Repair. That's actually a good segue. Here we. So you can hit repair all, and that repairs the outsides. If you've got any holes, they put some duct tape on there. You're good. The ship integrity. Now this is from getting stuck between 2 rocks. It happens, It doesn't repair your ship integrity. Definitely, if you're taking damage occasionally, like we will be bumping into rocks or having rocks bump into you, definitely make sure your ship integrity stays full. But that, I think, is probably going to do it for us on the inside the hangar portion. So let's get out there and mine us some void opals. Okay, so we've got our fit, and we're ready to go mine some void opals, right? Wrong. We don't know where they are just yet. So one of the tools that I use to find where to sell them, and that's where I start. I start with where to sell them. I use EDDB. The link will be in the down below. If it's not, feel free to slap me and remind me to put it in there. But yeah, I use EDDB, use their commodities tab, and I go over and I click on Void Opals. You click on Void Opals, it'll give you a list of who is selling what where. So if you want to find one nearby, you can type in your station or your system that you're working in and find the closest one to you that has Void Opal selling that is a decent price. So that was my step 1. I actually went to the current highest price Void Opal selling in the whole solar system. Well, not the whole solar system. Whole elite universe. The whole galaxy. There we go. But yeah, I went and found the highest sell price, started there. From there, I left the station. I looked around for a planet with an icy ring. So I have found one. It is 2 jumps away in the ship that we outfitted earlier. It may be closer for you if you find a better location or you have a ship with a bit better jump range. Um, I like the one that I've got, like I said, because of its maneuverability, not because of its jump range. It can carry a decent amount, cannot jump very far. Um, so once we've gotten there, I will show you how to scan for the planet with the rings that you want. Okay, and here we go. We have plopped down in a system that I know has void opals. So when you're hunting for them, one of the first things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull up the full spectrum scanner. You're going to want to run a scan. These keys were not bound for me when I first started the game. So, yeah, that's definitely something you're going to have to do. As you can see at the bottom of the filtered spectral analysis, I have already scanned every planet here. You're looking for an icy ring. Let's look for this planet. It should be... You're going to have to do a little bit more looking. There's 5. 5 has an icy ring. I'm currently already locked onto there because I've already found it, and that's where we're headed next. Let's see if we can find this gas giant. And if you haven't noticed, down at the bottom right, you can see what type of planet it is. You just can't see, like, if it's got rings beforehand. Actually, there's an excellent image guide to this full spectrum scanner that will tell you if it's got rings or not before you even go to it. I'll see about linking that down below. If I don't, bug me, and I will make sure to put it in there. Let's take a look at this planet. Oh yeah, once again, it's got a ring. Let's go investigate. I know I haven't actually gone to this and scanned it yet, so we're going to go and we are going to scan it just so you know what that looks like. And I need to set that as my destination. It is number 4. So I've bound a go ahead and lock in button. So target current signal I've set to mouse 1 just for the convenience of it. I'm going to drop back out, head on over to Hermitage 4. This is by no means the only place that has these. It's just where I have found that I like to go mine. And since I haven't checked that one out yet, we're going to go ahead and Super Cruise assist all the way over there and let the autopilot handle that as we talk a little bit more about what's about to happen. So when we get to Hermitage 4, we know it's got rings. We've got our discovery scanner. We're going to discovery scan it. So getting the actual planet itself is not super duper important unless you just want to sell that information later. But we do want to hit the ring. And when we get there with the scanner, I will show you what that looks like. Okay, it's now taking up the majority of my screen, and we're slow enough to pull up the surface scanner, so here we go. So this interface is not always the most straightforward, but when I'm scanning a planet, I usually like to go as center as possible. Then I will go off to, well, one side, and I will hit that mark right there. That should get me 90 degrees up, 90 degrees down, and then 90 degrees on either side. And then I like to do one that says it's going to miss. Well, not quite miss, come in just enough so it stops saying miss. And that should get me the exact other side of the planet. Now, this planet is quite large. So it may take more than your average number of probes. But it is important to, at some point, hit the ring. The last time I did this, one probe hit the ring and scanned the whole ring. There we go. So we've got some hot spots, and when we pull out of here, it will tell us what those hotspots are. I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the scan job and hope for the best. We went all the way out on one side. We're gonna come in not quite so far on the other. Got pretty good coverage as it is. I think we go right about, yeah. Our percentages are still going up. Okay, and that's all 13 probes needed to scan the area. If I put my placements just right, I will have gotten everything I need. And I'm hoping that I did, and I think that I probably did. Usually it jumps from 89 to 100. We just plopped down a probe. 14 have impacted, and we're still not quite complete. I don't have a flip side of planet view to check that out, so we're going to call it quits right here. And go check out that hotspot. Okay, so let's look at it. Low temperature diamonds hotspot. Low temperature diamonds in this system are around 700,000. So they're not a terrible way to go. There's another hotspot on the other side. There's an Alexandrite hotspot on the other side. So all of that pretty good, just not amazing. And you definitely, like I said, want to be using EDDB to figure out exactly what you want to be mining. We're going to lock our destination on the known good system, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we have arrived at the predefined icy ring that we have found. Normally, like I said, you'd have to scan this first. Not that big of a deal. But for a Void Opal hotspot, it should show up as a, well, Void Opal hotspot. Let's lock that as our target, throttle up, and go in, check out, see what's in there. Here we go, and we have dropped out. So while we're just now getting here, let's take a quick look at the fire groups. Now, these are very custom, so you do not, I repeat, do not need to follow these. So let's start at the top. You've already seen the fit, so you already know what's here, and I have passed the top again. Boom, there we go, back at the top. Burst laser. I've got that one in my combat group, A. So we'll actually probably ignore the burst laser and the multi-cannon. The abrasion blaster is actually teamed with the collector limpet so that I can blast the hot spots and then pop the limpet. My seismic charge launcher is in a group all by itself, so I don't accidentally launch a giant chunk of TNT across the map. And for the actual searching of the Void Opals, I've got my Prospector Limpet and my Pulse Wave Analyzer all on one fire group. Let's go ahead and pull out our stuff. I went ahead and popped a Pulse Wave Scanner. Okay, so you just saw what popped up at the top left. The scan will be over soon. There are very frequently pirates and, well, other folks that mean you harm out in these fields. So don't be surprised to be scanned. Be ready to bug out when it's time to bug out. I generally don't stick around too terribly long, just because I don't want to be caught with a full hold. Now, if you've got an escort, that's a totally different story. You can do whatever you want. So, looking around out here, running this pulse wave scanner, we have found a couple of what looks to be promising rocks. Not necessarily, though. I mean, just because it lights up nice and bright doesn't mean that's what you're looking for. There's only a handful of rocks that actually handle void opals, and we'll find one relatively soon. Just don't be fooled by the cheap imitators. That's bright as all get out, and it's got fissures. Oh, that looks dirty. There we go. We have found our Void Opals. Now, I know this is really tempting to just go mine all that stuff out of there, but yeah, we're gonna do it the fun way. We're gonna crack this asteroid in half. We have switched over our fire groups to our seismic charges, so we are going to lock on to one of these fissures. Let's see. That one doesn't look easy to hit. That one doesn't look easy to hit. Actually, none of them look particularly easy to hit. But we'll hit one. I like to lock onto them and then charge up. So you're actually charging the charge. So if you, I'll show you in just a second. These colors that have popped up, that's, you want to keep it into the blue zone. If you get into the red zone, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to lose yield is what's going to happen. You can also see the detonation timer countdown. So we do need to get these out and get them out quick. Think that might hit. And it did. Okay, and we're looking for one more fissure because we're still not quite into that blue zone. I think you can partially, and I missed. I think you can partially charge these so that you get it a little bit better fine-tuned. And we have exceeded it. So what you can do in this case, you can disarm a charge. So we can try again with a little bit lower charge. Okay, there we go. We are right there in the blue. So I'm gonna target that, back up a little bit. It is a good idea to be looking around behind you. But I like to hit about, I don't know, 2 kilometers away, and you can detonate them early. So that one's got 40 seconds left to go. We'll detonate now. Boom! 10 resource chunks have been freed. And if you see all these little ghost images, yeah, you can grab those too. And I'm about to show you how to do it. Before we head in, I would like to say that night vision is almost a must. Let's go ahead and pop on in. If you target the thing that you want to shoot, you know how far away it is, and you can actually see if you'll actually hit. There we go. We have popped that one off, and that one's on the far side of a thing, but we hit it anyway somehow? Go figure. But you could see what kind of a nightmare this would be if we didn't have night vision on, because it's all the same color. Like, have fun trying to navigate that, and I missed. So as a general rule, I like to bring out about 20 of these limpets. That gives me enough that I can hit a few, that aren't quite right, and still have enough limpets to do all of the collecting that needs to be. Oh, come on. I know that's a hard to hit shot, but I can hit it. There we go. Got that one. And I'll look over here in the contacts. There's one surface deposit of Void Opals left. And let's turn around and take a look at that. I'm using that nav thing at the very bottom. There we go. I have found you, my friend. Yes, proximity alarms go off a lot in here. Oh, and I didn't charge it enough. Okay, now, once all of them have been freed, I like to kind of camp down in the middle. Now, this is not necessarily the best thing to do. And then launch at least 2 limpets and open your cargo scoop. If your cargo scoop is not open, they cannot deliver your Void Opals. Let's take a look at our inventory. We've still got 13 limpets left. We can still make another, 3 maybe of these void rocks. Yeah. So our shields are down a little bit, not a big deal. It's kind of to be expected. Bumping around out here. So we have processed a fragment. How many do we have? We still don't have any yet. We've got one collector limpet out. That may actually have something to do with how difficult to navigate in here it is. It's definitely easier on you and your collectors if you hover a nice line of sight outside of the main sphere. But if you take a look at my heat, I'm at 1% heat right now, which is like no heat. So you're very, very hard to find in here. So you're not going to be scanned or anything. Like you're invisible unless you've got a teammate out there and you've got your wing, your nav beacon open. There we go. So where I've been selling these, I know the galactic average is 182,000, but I've been selling them at about 1.6. So 1.6 mil. That's a lot. That's already a ton. And if we take a look over here in our contacts, there's still a good handful left. But we're just going to sit here and let them do the heavy lifting. And we've got one collector out. Apparently there's a Void Opal or something that's in a hard-to-reach spot, and the pathing is not great. I don't know if this is something that'll be fixed, but I hope it is, because it's really annoying to continuously lose your little limpets. And I have bumped into something because I am moving. So, in theory, you can be moving as fast as you normally would to pick up an object with your cargo scoop, and the limpets will still be able to deliver. I don't trust that, because any roll or pitch to your flight will absolutely wreck them. So if you're, rolling a little bit or pitching a little bit, will wreck your limpets when they get close. But I'm sure you can see now what I was talking about for how peaceful it is out here in this cloud. I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm pretty sure I have already covered this, but I wanted to point out once again where to go to sell these. Actually, that's what I used as my jumping off point. I used eddb.io. I think it's .io. Maybe it's .com. I'll have a link down below. But I used eddb to find the highest sell prices for Void Opals. And then I went and I discovery scanned the areas around those stations to see if I could find an icy ring with some Void Opal hotspots. And from there, well, you kind of see what I'm up to. Yeah, it's a really good way to make money, especially if you've got something else to do at the same time, kind of like exploration. I'm not entirely sure what the timing is, for this video and the exploration video, but there is an update to the exploration video coming as soon as I can get away with it. I still very much enjoy exploration. It is still a decent way to make money. It is not like what is this, like 50 mil we're gonna make on this trip in under an hour? Like, it's not gonna happen. Yes, there are better ways to make money. This is a non-exploity way to make a decent chunk of change. And it also allows for a little bit more RP. If you're doing something exploity, there's not really any point in, doing RP. Okay, and that seems to be the last of our stuff. Let's go ahead and retract our scoop, retract our other stuffs. We will set a course to place that I am selling, which should be... I really hope I don't have to look it up. I may have to look it up. Yep, I'm going to have to look it up on the galaxy map. Okay, route plotted. So we're not really looking at the place where we want to go. Let's be a little bit reckless here and shoot out the bottom or top or whatever. I'm assuming this is the bottom. Yeah, it looks like the bottom. We've shot out of the bottom of the asteroid belt. Asteroid belt or ring? Ring. We've shot out the bottom of the ring. It's just the giant rocks floating in space. I get the names mixed up sometimes. Forgive me for that. We are charging our frameshift drive, getting out of here as quick as possible. Usually when folks stop by to scan you, they stop by, scan, see you have nothing, and leave, or see you have stuff and, well, wreck your day if you don't have any help. Okay, and we have plopped down at our chosen station thanks to EDDB. Let's go to, oh, and I have hit the wrong button. Let's go to our commodities market and go to sell and go find our Void Opals. We have 12, 1.659 million each. So let's go ahead and see what our pay is. It's gonna be 20 mil for one rock. And that's because we hit that in that nice blue zone. Let's go ahead and sell those. And you're done. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's what it takes. Well, it looks like that's going to do it for us today, guys. I wanted to say thank you for hanging around this long. If you did and you haven't already hit subscribe, please do. Just so you don't miss out on any of the other cool stuff coming on down the road. If you'd like to hang out with us, please hit us up on Discord. Link is in the About section on the channel, or you can go to discord.wonsnot.com, and I will see you guys in the next one.